swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
You know what I like to do? Just follow me on this one.
What it do? What it do? Salute to the nation. Man, it's been a minute. There are all kinds of things going on in Raider Nation. We have coaches moving around. We have coaches being fired. We have players squabbling in the locker room. We have coaching, players meetings. A lot to talk about, right? The draft coming up. The team is in a horrible position. I don't think we've been this bad since Lane Kiffin? I don't know. It's been a minute, but shout out to everybody in the chat. Raiders down yonder, appreciate you pulling up. Tatty Raiderette, salute. What's good with you? Man, where do we begin? Let's start with the good news first, right? Good news. Michael Mayer back to practice. That's huge for this team. But is it a little too late? We will get to that. I mean, he was supposed to be part of this dynamic 12 personnel, right? That was unstoppable, was unguardable. We all bought in to the Luke Getsy 12 personnel system. You know, we heard from other players, other coaches, how it's really very, very hard to defend and almost unstoppable, right? Well, we never got to see that in Raider Nation because Michael Mayer played 3 games, had 4 catches for 21 yards, and we had a horrible, atrocious offense, a rough defense. But changes have been made, right? So where do we stand? Is Michael Mayer going to help this team? Will he play this week? The short answer is the way AP's been coaching, I don't believe so. And, you know, being out for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, however long he's been out. Damn, he's been out a while. 6 weeks, right? That's a long time to be out. I mean, I don't know. Nobody knows if the guy was working out, if he was able to work out. Nobody even knows what the problem was, right? Just disappeared. At least with Chandler Jones, we knew the situation. We knew what was going on. You know, we've been left in the dark. I can't remember in 49 years of being a Raider fan where we didn't know some kind of status about a player or have some kind of word of what was going on or really nothing, right? The only thing I heard was his parents contacted the team and said it was a problem that had come up from his past. So that's all we know. But the good news is the man is back. But will he be a Raider for how long? That's another question. We'll talk about that. Let me know your comments, what y'all think. Do you think Michael Mayer will be a Raider next year? I mean, there's a lot of changes going around. We already have a dominant tight end. More than likely with the new offensive coordinator, we're going to try to be, you know, kind of like Washington is doing over there with Queensberry, who was supposed to be our OC and dipped to go to Washington, which nobody can blame him, right? He's got a great quarterback over there. You got Dan Quinn, you know, a Super Bowl champion. Has he been? I don't know if he won, but anyways, been to a Super Bowl, head coach. So we got it made over there. There's a lot of rumors going around that, you know, from a certain content creator, not a lot of rumors going around. Basically, just one saying he has inside info that Kingsbury has been talked about being the Raiders head coach going forward next year, which I just don't see that happening. It's kind of like the Ben Johnson situation. Why would you want to come to a organization like this and unless they give you full reign like they did Gruden? And I just don't see that happening for somebody, with no head coaching experience like a Ben Johnson. Kingsbury does have coaching experience, but that didn't work out great. So, man. And then the Raiders, as always, a blast from the past. We get in the Back to the Future time machine and we bring out players that are almost old enough to have to wear diapers. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not hating on Norv Turner. He is a great, brilliant mind. But I also said that about every single one of these coaches that are in the locker room right now. And so far, none of them, especially the older ones, have proven to be any worth for this team. I mean, that's showing. I mean, they might be worth in the locker room, but it's not showing on the field at all. And one of the, main problems with Max Crosby and a lot of the players was that very problem at hand that I just spoke on, is coaching staff not doing their job, practices not going well, practices being not organized. That falls on the head coach. We'll get to that later, but let's see what we got. Be right back. Dogs have to pee. Great. Appreciate that. Still listening. Okay, great. I don't really know if he will or will not, to be honest. Here's my thing. Michael Mayer, I mean, obviously, bro, has a chance to be one of the best tight ends. They called him Baby Gronk for a reason. The man won the same award that Brock Bowers did the last 2 years. So he's been the best tight end in college football. Excuse me. The man has hands like glue, big monster hands, 260 pounds. The dude is an offensive lineman playing tight end that is an athletic freak of nature. And you want guys on that team, right? You need guys like that on your team. On the other hand, this team is a complete rebuild. Well, not complete. Okay, we're not completely rebuilding because we're not getting rid of key players as far as we know, right? Like Max Crosby, Nate Hobbs, cornerstone guys that we could build around, right? JPJ, DJ Glaze. These guys aren't going nowhere, so we're not in a complete rebuild. But we have 21 free agents. We don't know who's coming back. We don't know who's not coming back. Those are big, big questions. And questions that aren't going to be answered, obviously, until the end of the season. Will Tom Telesco be making those questions? That is another question to be answered. Let me know what you think in the comments. Will Tom Telesco be around next year to be making these decisions of who stays and who goes, what free agents we keep and what free agents we move on? I mean, do you give him more than a year? I don't know what his contract was. If you look at the draft, you could say, yes, we had a great draft. But I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Brock Bowers was there at 13. Whether you're Tom Telesco at GM or, whether you're Reggie McKenzie, whether you're any GM in the National Football League, you got to take Brock Bowers. The reason the people above us didn't take Brock Bowers is because 6 of them took quarterbacks for one. That's half the draft. And a lot of them, went offensive line. So they didn't really need tight ends, and they probably made a mistake because Brock Bowers is a freak of nature. But he fell in our lap, and Tom Telesco would have probably been fired if you didn't take him because there was no quarterback there to take at that point. Yes, there was offensive linemen there, that we needed. There was a couple tackles still on the board. You know, there was Quinyon Mitchell still on the board, who I was highly, highly trying to recruit the Raiders. But, you know, of course, they don't watch my show or listen to me. But it was worth a shot, right? Because Quinyon Mitchell is killing it over there in Philadelphia. And he could really help this team. I mean, way more than Jack Jones is at this point. Yeah, he's got a touchdown for an interception. But come on, when it comes to coverage, dude, 128.8. And I think it's went up since then. Opposing quarterbacks rating against him is just horrible, even with that interception. So, you know, then Tom Telesco has JPJ. He's there at our pick. Another guy where you can't pass him up. And another guy where most of the nation, including myself, was absolutely stunned that he was still there. So you got to take him. Now, when you get to the third pick, DJ Glaze, we don't know if, you know, who was in the building saying, I want DJ Glaze. Was it all Tom Telesco? You know, was it Antonio Pierce? Was it Joe Philbin saying, hey, this kid has potential and talent? Because, you know, he's been an offensive line coach. He's been there, done that. So, was it all Tom Telesco? We don't know. But as far as the offseason goes, you got Christian Wilkins. You brought back Adam Butler. You know, you let Josh Jacobs go, which was to me worth being fired right there as GM. your first gig, and you don't even call Josh Jacobs. Like, according to Josh Jacobs, I don't know if it's true or not, but according to Josh Jacobs, Tom Telesco never even reached out to him. That's worth firing for me. So, I mean, some crazy people trying to blame Telesco for AP for how the season has gone on. Look, Tom Telesco and Antonio Pierce have both said, and not only them, but Hondo Carpenter and other reporters have said, if Antonio Pierce wants something, he gets it. Tom Telesco has said, I need to find out what kind of players Antonio Pierce wants for his system, for whatever vision he has for building this franchise, and get him those players. So Tom Telesco's not getting players for Tom Telesco. Tom Telesco's getting players Antonio Pierce wants. Tom Telesco's trying to get big, physical, strong, violent, ill intent, physicality football players on this franchise for Antonio Pierce, right? He said it. Antonio Pierce has said it. So for anybody out there that's trying to say Tom Telesco is at fault for AP and Antonio Pierce doesn't have full say and he's talking to people on the headset or whatever, nobody knows who he's talking to on the headset. You can't say it's Tom Telesco. It could be Tom Coughlin for all we know. It could be Mark Davis. It could be anybody he's talking to on that headset. It could be defensive coordinator. It could be somebody right next to him. I mean, we don't know who he's talking to. So I don't believe it has anything to do with Tom Telesco. I think Tom Telesco has done everything Antonio Pierce has asked him to do. I think Gardner Minshew was an AP thing and a Getsy thing. I believe, pretty much all of it. I think Christian Wilkins was an Antonio Pierce guy that he wanted. I don't think it was all Tom Telesco. I think these are guys that Antonio Pierce visioned helping his team go forward, and most of them have backfired, honestly. I guarantee you, Tom Telesco, I can't guarantee, but I believe wholeheartedly that out of all the running backs Tom Telesco has had as a general manager, he went and got Madison to be the second running back, potentially starting running back, because we didn't even know Zeus was going to be, which I'm not calling him Zeus no more, Zamir White was going to be the starting running back, right? He wasn't given anything. He had to earn it, just like Aiden O'Connell, just like Gardner Minshew, Garbage Minshew, whatever. So there was a lot, bro. There was a lot that Tom Telesco could have done to make this team better. But for all we know, this could be Mark Davis, Tom Brady, Tom Telesco, and AP's plan to to just stick it out this year, stick it out next year, or stick it out this year until we get a quarterback, and give AP another year to see what he can do with the guys that he wants, because you can't get all the guys you want in 1 year, in one offseason. That's not going to happen, even though we had the money to go get all kinds of guys like, Justin Simmons at safety, or I'm not even going to talk about the wide receivers that have been tossed around the NFL that we could have got when we knew DA wasn't going to be here. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot that Tom Telesco hasn't done well. Besides the draft, really, he hasn't done shit, in my opinion. All right, let's get into this chat. What we got? OVR, what's good, my brother? Appreciate you pulling up. AP is a player, not a coach. AP is at fault. Agreed. It's crazy. Okay, that's where I stopped. Tom Telesco. All right. What else we got? He talked a big game, but he has sucked as head coach since the beginning. I'm not going to say he sucked. He's made some horrible calls. But I want to see, look, here's my thing. What happened to the Antonio Pierce? That was it the Kansas City game, I do believe. Maybe not the Kansas City game, but there was a game last year where we were losing at halftime and we were getting our ass kicked. Like, they were destroying us, not like score-wise, but just our defense couldn't do nothing. Our offense couldn't do shit. And Antonio Pierce, instead of taking these guys to the locker room, he made them come out and run line drills at halftime. Y'all remember that shit? 15-minute halftime, and we got like 2 minutes. They went in the locker room, and they came right back out. I don't know what he said, but that was the AP that was disciplined. That was the AP that was coaching. This year, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that on the sideline. I haven't seen that in, clips you watch from practice from Vegas Sports or from Hondo Carpenter or whatever clips they pull up there. You don't even see Antonio Pierce involved in any of the practices. Not the linebackers. He said he spent all this time last year in the offensive line room trying to learn the offensive line. I don't know if he's doing the same this year, but it's not like the players. Your production is not showing on the field. And this is the NFL, and it stands for not for long. And it doesn't matter whether it's your first time coaching, if Max Crosby loves you, if Devontae Adams, who's not even here anymore, goes to bat for you. None of that shit matters. The only thing that matters in the NFL is winning football games. When you take a team that you went 5-4 with a rookie fucking quarterback, excuse my language, a rookie quarterback that was a 4th-round pick that everybody in the nation says is trash, and you go 5-4, and then you bring in a guy like Gardner Minshew, and you win 2 games in a season. Now, granted, we lost some players on defense. Granted, we had a banged-up revolving door for our offensive line. But that is when a head coach makes his money, in my opinion. When you have guys out for the season, when you have guys hurt, when you have coaches not doing what you want them to do, when you have players not buying into your system, when you have guys making business decisions, that's when a head coach earns his money. That's when he steps up and says, all right, it's time to take over. Like, that shit would never happen with a Belichick, or those dudes would be fine. They'd be sitting on the bench. There'd be consequences for their actions. And besides Jack Jones, which to me, I said it when he did it, the only reason he benched Jack Jones for that quarter is because he's known Jack Jones his whole life, and he knows he can talk to Jack Jones and be like, hey, this is why I'm doing it. But nobody else, as a grown man in that locker room, is going to let that dude, bench him for a quarter. Or maybe he was scared to bench somebody else. But to me, I thought it was funny that he picked on Jack Jones, because at the time, Jack Jones wasn't the problem that I seen. He was playing pretty well, and it was after that that he's been even worse. Yes, there was a couple tackles where he could have tackled the guy, and he just stood there and backed out of the play. But there has been many, many, many Raiders that have done that this year in lots of games, and none of them got benched, and none of them were in the headlines. So, the whole thing about throwing players under the bus, blaming everything on the players and not taking any accountability until last week or the week before, because last week was a bye. But, we lost to the Bengals, and all of a sudden AP takes accountability. So, was it too late? Yes, in my opinion, yes. It was way too late to take accountability for all the shit that's been going on, because you were brought in, you've said, Tom Telesco said, Mark Davis has said, Antonio Pierce doesn't need to be an X's and O guy. I need him to be a leader of men. Leader of men, bro. That's what you did last year. Where'd that go? To me, these guys are shit. See that way back there? They're not following him like they did last year. And I don't know if it's because they're not connecting with the other coaches right now. I don't know. Like, maybe it was Getsy. Maybe there's other coaches in the building that they're not gelling with, and AP's not doing nothing about it. I don't know what the problem is, but obviously we've had our second team meeting. That's more than we have we've had the same amount of team meetings than we have wins. Like, that's, damn, that's pretty bad, bro. Jacobs was too much of a diva. Yeah, but Jacobs produced, diva or not. Same thing with Devontae Adams, diva or not. Devontae Adams had two of his best seasons as a Raider. One with Derek Carr, which one of his best season, I do believe. And the next was with three different quarterbacks and a rookie quarterback, and still had a pretty damn good season. So, diva or not, they performed when they were happy. They performed when they were disciplined, and I think the discipline part just fell off, bro. That all started with, we'll get into that later with Devontae Adams, but discipline is discipline. Devontae Adams didn't want to be here for a reason. He seen the shit was falling apart. He seen they couldn't choose a quarterback. He seen the offensive coordinator that he vouched for to bring in wasn't it, and was like, bro, I'm out. And look what it got him. Look what it got him to a worse team with a worse quarterback who's washed up. Jacobs wanted money that he wouldn't get here. According to Josh Jacobs, he didn't give a shit about the money. He wanted a longer contract. We paid him $11 million. $11 mil, right? To franchise tag him. What's the problem? If you're going to pay a dude $11 million just to hold him back and franchise tag him for a year, why can't you pay him $9 million for 3 years? 9.5 with incentives. Now, I broke down a video way before Josh Jacobs was let go on ways we could keep Josh Jacobs, and I guarantee you that dude would have been down with it, because all he wanted was a long-term contract. He stated it over and over and over again. It wasn't about the money. He loved Vegas. He loved playing in Vegas. He still has a house in Vegas. He's never going to sell because he likes Vegas. He liked AP. He liked Max Crosby. He was down with all the players. He didn't want to go nowhere. He wanted stability. Same reason Kingsbury right now is in Washington. He wanted stability too. They were like, no, we ain't doing it. Mark Davis is scared, dude. Mark Davis is scared to sign people to long-term contracts because of the John Gruden shit. He gave the dude $100 million for 10 years. Gruden coached, 2.5, and got booted because of some scandal shit. Like, Mark Davis is scorned, bro. And until he can get over that, this team is not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. Look, we got Malcolm Kuntz coming up on a contract. There's reports by Hondo saying, will the Raiders, let Malcolm Kuntz walk? More than likely they will, because they're the Raiders. But in all reality and honesty, no, they need to keep Malcolm Kuntz. We need Malcolm Kuntz. This defense has shown 1,000% that without Malcolm Kuntz on that other side, our defensive line has been nothing this year, dude. Absolutely nothing. No pressures. Was it all Malcolm Kuntz? No. But was it a big part of that? Yes. His speed, his bend, his get off, his quickness, his technique, all that shit accumulated to guys getting free like Adam Butler, like Nichols, Belai Nichols, who's not here no more. Those guys were getting free because our ends were getting to the quarterback. They're not getting to the quarterback right now. We got one end that gets to the quarterback and runs by him over and over again. His name is Max Crosby. Yes, I said it over and over again. He gets to the quarterback, runs by him, runs past him, or the quarterback runs right by him, or the running back. Man, dude, you got to have help. Is it his fault? No, because last year, those turned into sacks. When he got pressure, they had nowhere to go. They had Coombs coming on the other side. Now they're like, man, we could just go around him. There ain't nobody there. These guys are all playing 7-man deep, trying to cover and not stop the run. So, yeah, we got lots of problems. But, man, Josh Jacobs, we could have kept around. Like you said, Tom Telesco, every general manager is going to do it. You're going to keep guys that you think are going to help this team, and you're going to let guys go that you think aren't going to help this team, or you're going to let guys go because you want to bring in guys at those positions on a cheaper rate. Well, look where that got us. I mean, come on. Look where that got us. We have the worst running game in the NFL. We might have the worst running game in the history of the NFL. 74 yards a game? A game? A game. With a rookie that was outstanding his whole entire college career catching the ball out of the backfield. He don't even have to be a running back. Just line him up, run wheel routes, run some hook routes, run some slant routes out of the backfield with a running back who can catch anything you throw his way. No, no, that's too easy. Let's put in a guy who has no vision and wants to cut and run into the offensive line over and over and over again. Holy shit, I'm way behind in chat. Let me get up here. Facts, man. If Henry Ruggs... Oh, God, here we go. Back in the past. If Henry Ruggs didn't do what he did, we wouldn't have had a Hall of Famer. We would have had a Hall of Famer change of mind. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't get it. But, Henry Ruggs is Henry Ruggs, which might be up for parole next year. Hey. Do the Raiders bring back Henry Ruggs? Does he come back to football? Do you think that dude will ever get a chance? How old is he? What, 27, 28? Man, I mean, he's still, I don't know. You ain't got nothing to do in prison but work out, right? You got to be in shape. Are you in football shape? Hell no. Will he ever get a chance? I don't know. But there's other football leagues the man can play in. But I don't know. I don't know if he would have been a Hall of Famer. Like, he wasn't. I mean, his stats weren't that great. Yes, he was decent. Yes, he was faster than shit. But he's kind of like, reminds me of Trey Tucker. Diving for balls you don't need to dive for. Scared to get hit. Like, I don't know. Right? It's in my head too because we need receivers and we need quarterbacks and we need running backs and we need an offensive line. I thought he was good as hell too, but we only used him one way. He ran down the field every single time. Like, they didn't make him run routes, and players like that just don't last in the NFL. We didn't get to see the man's route tree. We didn't even get to see if he had a route tree. Like, I didn't see him run but maybe 1 or 2 routes, 3 routes. But yeah, I don't know about a Hall of Famer, but was he definitely a Pro Bowl caliber with his speed? Yes. I mean, definitely with his speed. What's good? If you just pulled up, hit that like button. If you haven't already, join the conversation. Gruden coached almost 4 years. Hold on. Mark is a pussy. He shouldn't have fired Gruden. Didn't he resign? I don't think he fired him. I thought he resigned. I thought he resigned. I don't think he fired him. I don't think he wanted to fire him, but like I said, I could be wrong. Just put Bill Belichick as head coach with current roster, and it's instantly better. All right, let's talk about the roster, because you have guys like Raider Honcho, which one of my favorite content creators. That dude is always on point most of the time, who says this team is absolutely ass. Like, no matter who was coaching it, that we're just not good anywhere. I totally disagree with that. I think we have a very, very solid ass team, but we have one of the youngest teams in the NFL. Experience is key. These guys can only get better, right? It's not like they can get worse. Well, I mean, they can get worse, but most of them have the potential to get a lot better. The sky is the limit for a lot of these guys, like DJ Glaze, like even Jordan Meredith. I mean, come on. Like, we have guys on this roster that could be making an impact and making a difference. Amari Gaynor, sitting his ass on the bench, playing special teams. In my opinion, he's the best cover linebacker we have on this team. This is another reason Antonio Pierce, I don't believe, is the guy. Now, will he get another chance? Will he probably be here next year? I think so, because I think Mark Davis is tired of the coaching carousel. And I think everybody knows that it doesn't really matter unless he gets 15 Pro Bowlers on this team, that with his coaching ability and the decisions he makes and the personnel decisions he makes, we're probably not going to be good next year either. So more than likely, we're drafting a quarterback. He's going to sit behind Aiden O'Connell, or they're going to go, try to get DC, bring him back? Yeah, I said it. Bring back Gruden? I don't know. I don't know what the plan is for this team. I don't know. But I sure the hell know Ben Johnson is not leaving a Super Bowl caliber team to be a head coach of a dysfunctional clown circus of an organization that everybody's relying on Tom Brady to come be the savior. Another topic we could talk about. I mean, where's Tom Brady in all this? How much say is Tom Brady going to have? Because everything that I've read and everything I've listened to says Tom Brady really can't do shit working for Fox. You can't analyze quarterbacks. You can't be on the field evaluating guys. Now, I've talked about this before. You can watch all the tape. If he has time, you can send him all the tape on the planet, and he can watch tape on guys. But how much say is he going to have? Because from what I've told, it's very, very little, unless he leaves his job at Fox. Which, I mean, why would you leave a gig making all that money talking about something you love? And minority owners have this much say in what's going on. Now, I know the owner can give them more say, maybe, but majority owners, 99.9% of the time, have no involvement in personnel and who's getting drafted and what coaches are brought in. Now it's the Raiders, and that could be different, and he can have all kinds of say. But really, he's been in Mark Davis's ear the whole entire time. He's been in Mark Davis's ear since they started the Aces thing. And before that, Mark Davis has had his man crush on Tom Brady since the Tuck rule. Maybe he's... I won't go there, but... we all seen how he looks at him all googly-eyed. He had the whole entire organization come up out of their offices and stand there waiting for Tom Brady to enter the building like he was Jesus Christ himself. Tom Brady has been in Mark's ear for a long, long time. Why wasn't he on the field then? Why wasn't he evaluating quarterbacks then? Like, this whole time, why isn't he saying, hey, that's not a good coach, you should probably go with one of these guys? Or maybe you shouldn't hire Antonio Pierce because the fans say hire Antonio Pierce, and maybe, just maybe, you should interview at least 5 or 6 coaches that at least have potential of being a head coach, not guys that have been out of the business for 20 years, or guys that have been head coach before, that I mean, the coaching search was very, 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 very small. Everybody knew it was going to be Antonio Pierce from the get-go. He didn't do his homework. You would think with Bisaccia and just bringing in Dick Daniels that Mark Davis would have did his homework at least this time, and not just said, hey, the fans want this guy, the players want this guy. He's got to be a great guy, right? He's going to work. He's a great motivator. But maybe he's lost his mojo at motivating. It looks like it to me this year. I don't know. Maybe losing gets to him. It's got to get to him when you know your job is on the line and you took over a damn good team. Because let's not forget, and I've said this before, this team was projected to go to the playoffs when we brought Dick Daniels in, right? We had Derek Carr, top 15 quarterback. Some say top 10 quarterback in the NFL. We had Josh Jacobs. Our defense had Max Crosby. We had a lot of young key players that were starting to put it together. We went and got guys like Yannick. We were starting to build a team. We went and got Devontae Adams. They were like, man, the Raiders have a shot to make the playoffs, right? We were projected to win all these games. Then we lose all these games in the fourth quarter. 8 games in the fourth quarter? Because we have no defense, which we still have the same coordinator, and we still have no defense. We've only had a defense for 9 games. That was 9 games last year. So, man, I don't think Tom Brady's going to have too much say in what's going on, and I don't think the NFL is going to allow it. Now, there's nothing you can do in the NFL without everybody knowing. There's reporters. There's up the ass guys in the locker room leaking shit. Another topic I want to get to that's really starting to piss me off. But I just don't see him having any more say than really he did when he was not paying to be owner, minority owner, because everybody keeps calling him owner. Tom Brady's not the owner. He is a minority, very, very small owner, like smaller than an ant. So his say is going to be what the NFL allows, and most of all, what Fox Sports, the network he works for, allows, because right now they don't allow him to interview players. They don't allow him to talk to players. They don't allow him in the meetings that they go before games. Every one of these announcers and shit go talk to these players. They interview the players. They talk about their families. They get to know the guys. They get to know the rookies. Tom Brady don't get to do none of that. So I just don't see how much of a change it's going to be. And the fact that Roger Goodell can't stand the Raiders or Mark Davis at all, or anything that has to do, or the fans for that matter, do you really think they're going to allow him to do both? I don't. And I've heard over and over again everybody say he has to quit Fox Sports or they're going to have to fire him, but I just don't see that happening. Mark made Gruden resign. It was Goodell who called Mark. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he didn't fire him. He made him resign. So, and NFL said can't hire him. What? So I want you to fire him, and the NFL said can't hire him. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, Roger Goodell, and always been against the Raiders. If Goodell called Al like that, Al would be like, oh, I don't have to fire him. Okay, click. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But Mark Davis is not his father. I mean, let's get that 100% straight. He don't have the balls his father did. He don't have the moxie, the swagger, the persona, and never will be his father at all. Like, I always thought it was strange that, Mark was never really around or taught the game by his father. I don't, it was like he didn't groom him to take over the team, which is kind of hurting us right now. Tom was telling, see, why does everybody keep saying that? Tom was telling Mark right now to go get Bill. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick do not have a great relationship, right? I mean, did you see the roast? That shit wasn't planned or fake or set up. That's real. These dudes don't like each other. Tom Brady left the Patriots to go to a Bucks organization just to prove that he can win without Belichick, and it had nothing to do with Belichick, that he was the man there. That's real hatred, bro. When you have all those rings and you have to leave just to prove that you can do it without your head coach, come on. To me, that's not love. And if Belichick goes anywhere, it's going to be the Cowboys if Deion Sanders don't end up taking that job, because I've heard some talks, and I don't know if Jerry Jones would ever do it, but Deion Sanders was never a Raider, but he was a Cowboy. And with all the shit going on over there, and the way Deion's coaching in Colorado, and when the shit going on with Dak Prescott that you just paid a whole lot of money to, if I was Jerry Jones, I'd be on the phone. I mean, Deion's got the Dallas. He already got the cowboy hat. He's got a farm and a ranch. Like, he's set up to be in Dallas, right? And if it happens, you heard it here first. Raiders Unleashed. I'm just saying. But if I was Jerry Jones, I'd be trying to ship Dak Prescott off to anybody I possibly could. And I would straight up be calling Deion Sanders and saying, look, we're going to bring you in as head coach, and you're going to bring your son in, and you're going to coach your son to be our quarterback of the future. Behind Dak Prescott, let him sit for a year, which is not really a great quarterback to learn from, but I mean, you never know. It could happen, right? Could happen. I'm just saying. Al Davis died on my birthday. Worst birthday gift ever. Man, that sucks, bro. I hate to hear that. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I cried my ass off when I heard he was dead. I was like, what? No. But then I was like, oh, damn, the Raiders are going to be good. But then I was like, oh, shit, his son's taking over. It's a real shame with what the hell happened with this team. I mean, look, everybody can point fingers and say it's this and say it's that and say the team is bad. I mean, the head coach, Antonio Pierce himself, even said this team is bad. Now, when Max Crosby was asked, these glasses are killing my face, dude. When Max Crosby was asked about it and was told that Antonio Pierce said it was a bad team, Max Crosby said this ain't a bad team. Now, I'm going to believe Max Crosby over Antonio Pierce, because Max Crosby has been on this team since he's been in the NFL, right? He's the leader of this team. He knows the guys in this team's heart. He knows their character more than anybody out of this coaching staff, or more than anybody they can bring in. So if Max Crosby believes in this team and says this is not a bad team, I'm with Max, bro. I'm 100% with Max. I don't believe it's a bad team. I believe it's a bad coach team. A very bad coach team. It was a bad idea to bring in Getsy that didn't have a running back, that didn't have a running quarterback, because that's the system that he wants to run. But again, I don't think he knows what quarterback he wants to run, because he wasn't the head coach or the offensive coordinator in Green Bay. He was just a quarterback's coach, passing game coordinator. Same job Norv Turner had, coming up with offensive plays, scouting the defenses, knowing what plays you could run against them, where their weaknesses are. That's what an offensive coordinator does. I mean, passing coordinator. That's their job. So Was it all him in Green Bay? No. Was it a lot of him? Yes, because he was working with Aaron Rodgers and the wide receiver, Devontae Adams. So a lot of that was him. That's how he got a job as offense coordinator. Now, when it comes to putting the scheme together, we heard over and over again how this scheme was great and how teams were not going to be able to cover this scheme if it worked, if guys stayed healthy. But they never got the offense together. They never got the offensive line together. They went with the wrong quarterback that was, in my opinion, just broken from the get-go. I don't even know how he got the starting job. You can go back and watch preseason. You can go back and watch all the film they showed of the guy missing the target, throwing it over, throwing it under, throwing that shit out of bounds on the other side of the field. I mean, you could like there was no sign ever that said Gardner Minshew should have got a starting job over Aiden O'Connell, and that's just facts. And anybody that says different is high as hell, bro. It's high as hell. Like, you got to be on crack to say Garner was a better option than Aiden O'Connell. Like, it's just never, bro. Aiden was way more accurate. He knew the team. He had chemistry with the team, and they broke all that shit up to bring in a garbage ass Gardner Minshew. And yes, it made Antonio Pierce look bad. It made the organization look bad. And now he's trying to correct it, which, in my opinion, is just, it's too late for that, bro. It's too late. You should have figured out Getsy wasn't the guy. These running backs weren't the guy before the trading deadline, and went and made a trade for a running back. Like, we need a running back. Can Zamir White eventually maybe be that guy? Not in this system, not running a wide zone, not trying to run draw plays up the middle over and over and over and over again. Like, the dude has no vision. He needs to be outside where he can see the whole entire field. So, dude, it was wrong from the get-go. The chemistry was wrong all the way around. We got a third choice offensive coordinator, which Antonio Pierce wanted, right? Let's get back to that. How is it Tom Telesco when Antonio Pierce said it himself? I wanted Luke Getsy because of what he did to us against the Bears. He had Tyson Bagent, whatever the hell his name is, make the Raiders defense, and Patrick Graham looked like they were in Pee Wee football. Like, come on, the Bears ran all over us with a Division IV quarterback. What's good, Robert? And the Bears destroyed us. And Antonio Pierce said it himself. That's why he hired Luke Getsy. So you can't blame Tom Telesco for Antonio Pierce's failures. Like, in my opinion, if it was me, I would have never brought in Tom Telesco. Yes, the draft was great. Do we give him a chance? Let him draft again? Obviously, they're going to. But if it was me, bro, I would blow it all up. I'd just say, what the hell? If we got to go get a new quarterback, we got to find somebody who's a head coach, who knows how to evaluate quarterbacks. We need somebody like Sean McVay that every quarterback he gets turns into a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, right? The guy knows how to make quarterbacks winners. Antonio Pierce don't know shit about offense or quarterbacks, obviously, and he don't know shit about hiring quarterbacks or offensive coordinators or anybody else, because so far the staff he's put together has not panned out. What's good, my brother? Appreciate you pulling up. Yonder, I hope you're doing well, bro. I'm doing good, man. Hell yeah. So, what's everybody think about? Let's get into this. What do y'all think about Norv Turner? Decrepit ass. Back from the crypt. Coming to be an assistant. Like, if you don't follow this channel, which I'm sure the four of you in here do, I said 3 weeks ago that if Luke Getsy got fired, Norv Turner would be part of this team, that the Raiders would bring him in to be some kind of consultant or assistant to his son. And I was 100% correct on that. They brought in Scott Turner, who in Chicago had, or not Chicago, in Washington as the OC, had 8 different quarterbacks. Fucking 8 different quarterbacks. All right, so people adapt, right? People adjust, people change. So I'm going to give the guy a chance. You know, there's a lot. Robert Pena says, I'm not a fan of Turner. Scott Turner or Norv Turner? Because we have 2 of them now. We have a Scott and a Norv. Besides one of my teams sucking, but one of your teams won the World Series. You're a Dodgers fan, obviously. Go Dodgers, right? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not a fan of Turner. Did I say it? Norv. Norv. Is it because Norv Turner was the head coach of the Raiders and didn't do shit? What was he there, a year? I mean, I don't think he got a fair shake. I don't think any coach has ever got a fair shake. I mean, the only one that really deserved to kind of get the boot, well, okay, there was a couple. But really the main one, who I think if we're given second chances, probably deserves a second chance more than anybody that's getting them, and that's Lane Kiffin. Like, Lane Kiffin was 5-20. He had Josh McCown as quarterback, which I'm going to bring that up here in a second. Josh McCown is a topic I want to bring up, since the Raiders like to bring back old guys, right? You know, once a Raider, always a Raider. They don't play when it comes to that shit, because if you play here one time or coach here one time, you always have a job. You always have a job. It's bad, bro. It's bad with this organization. But look, Norv Turner is a great offensive coordinator. He was a great offensive coordinator. Look what he did in Dallas. And I know you could say Dallas was a long time ago, but if you go back and look at their record, I believe they were like 2-14, 3-14. Yeah, 2-14, because they played 16 games in, I do believe. But come on, he came in. Troy Aikman was not very good. Emmitt Smith was not having a great year. And my man came in and took him to the Super Bowl, right? Flipped the offense around like that. The next year, you know, they're 7-9 or whatever, and the next year they're in the Super Bowl. So Norv Turner can build the offense, and he can change teams around. Now, that was way back in the day, and he's 72 or 74 years old right now. There's a big difference. But, man, probably next year we'll have a new head coach. I'm kind of in the mix on that. I'm in between. I think at this point they're gonna go draft a quarterback that everybody wants. More than likely, it's gonna be Shador. Not my choice. If you want to know my choice, just ask. That is not my top choice for quarterback, but I'm not mad at it. I'm definitely not mad at it. If he doesn't bring too much drama, his daddy following him, come on, man. Like, I don't know. The whole daddy thing around in your whole life would drive me nuts, bro. If I was a college kid trying to get away, I sure wouldn't want my daddy coaching my team. I'm just saying. But I don't know if we have a new head coach next year. I think the way shit's gone, you can blame it on Antonio Pierce. But it all comes down to how much faith does Mark Davis really have in Antonio Pierce? Does Tom Brady, who everybody says is going to have all this say in the organization, does he have faith in Antonio Pierce? Or is he already in Mark Davis's ear looking for a new head coach? Because I know most of you guys in here probably watch the other content creators that say they have people in the building. Which, man, if you have people in the building leaking shit, they need to find out who those people are and they need to be fired, because that shit is trash. What happens in Vegas should stay in Vegas. And what happens in the Raiders organization should stay in the organization. I'm tired of people leaking shit like the locker room stuff. We have enough drama in this organization. And us as content creators should not be trying to throw more fuel on the fire or bring more drama in by saying you have an inside source that knows this, or you have an inside source that says this or says that. Like, that shit's annoying. That shit is annoying. But there's a lot of people that are saying the Raiders are already, Mark Davis and Tom Brady are already, looking for their next head coach. How much of that is true? I don't know. I have no idea. But probably a lot. Because, come on. If you look at his record, you're 2-7. I went back the last week because I haven't done anything in a week. If y'all don't know, I've been disappeared for a minute. I took my own little bye week off. But at nighttime, before I go night-night, I just put on Raider games and, just watch tape, watch games. We should have won so many of these games, honestly. Honestly, if this defense performed like they were supposed to at the beginning of the season, with or without injuries, if we just didn't make dumb mistakes or turn the ball over, we're in a lot of these games. And that's kind of what's scaring me right now, because if we correct those, where does that put us in the NFL draft? Do we need to be top 3 to get a quarterback? In my opinion, no. No. We don't. I think we could be at 6 or 5 and still get a quarterback. Will it be Shador? I don't know. Cam Ward? I don't know. But there's a lot of teams that are going to go after guys. What the hell's that dude's name? Damn, I just forgot his name. The defensive lineman. Shit. But there's a couple defensive linemen out there. There's guys that need O-linemen. There's a ton of offensive linemen. Talk with Bill on that podcast. What podcast? Tom was brought in to be the head of football operations, in my opinion. Just look how he was welcomed. Yeah, I got that. He was welcomed officially as part owner. Tom is most definitely waiting to bring in Bill, and Max was also. I don't know. I don't believe that. I think if anybody, Max Crosby wants Gruden back. Max Crosby has said on his podcast numerous times, Gruden will be back. It's not if, it's when. Gruden will be back. So there's talks about Gruden coming back too. It's the nation, bro. There's talks about crazy shit. I just don't see Belichick. Raider Ryan, what's good? I don't see Belichick fitting in with this Raiders organization. Like, it's just a disgruntled franchise from, people in the building leaking information to content creators, supposedly. Their sources say this, their sources say that. You got guys that are paid to do a job that are leaking meetings that shouldn't be leaked, leaking shit that's said, leaking guys pushing shit in the locker room. It's not a tight-knit organization. Can Bill Belichick at his age come in and gain the respect of this locker room? Come on, we're not talking overnight, bro. We're talking 2-3 years to get guys to buy into that system, because it's a totally different. It's going to be a totally night and day from what we have now. The players are already complaining there's no discipline in this locker room. There's nobody being held accountable. You can't come in overnight and just flip a switch, which, Harbaugh kind of did over there, at the Chargers, but how's that going? Like, they're not the team everybody thought they were going to be. They still have playoff chances, but they're struggling. So, but he changed that culture around pretty quick. So I don't know. Belichick can. But the way the Patriots fell off after Tom Brady left tells me a lot about Belichick and his coaching. And I just don't think we need that drama, right? There's a reason he was fired. There's a reason he was fired. Billy D, what's good, my guy? People get old. People get senile. Now, if you listen to Belichick talk on his little podcast and Inside the NFL and everything else they got going on, he's a brilliant football man. He's a brilliant football mind. He knows, he probably forgot more about football than we could ever possibly learn. Like, I give the guy that. But this is a new time. You see in the NFL guys that are winning, they're not head coaches that have been head coaches for 25, 30 years. It's not that way. Like, these guys want young coaches that have played, that know the locker room, that know football, that have been around coaching, that have been around good coaches, that are innovative, that have new shit. Like, you can't be stagnant in the NFL. And I think a lot of these coaches don't change. They don't adapt. They have their own philosophy. And the Patriots way won a lot of games, but then they lost a lot of games. So to me, I'm out on Belichick. I'm out. I'm done with the Patriot way. This is the Raiders organization. You can only bring so many guys in from a team. Like, that franchise was good because they had Tom Brady. That franchise was good because they had Josh McDaniels calling plays. It takes a team. It takes everybody to be on the same page. Once Josh McDaniels left, the Patriots fell apart. Then Tom Brady left. Patriots fell apart. J-Dog, what's good? So it takes everybody in the building. It wasn't just Belichick. Is he a great head coach? He was. Is he still now? I don't know. Because the Patriots, when he got fired, were ass. His drafting was horrible. Look at the receivers they have on this team. Dude, look at their roster right now. Just look at their roster. And tell me Belichick, you want Belichick in here to have all the control like Gruden. I'm out. I'm out on that. Hardball fixed the culture quick. With a total coach turnover and a lot of personnel players as well. He did. He definitely did. But we'll see down the stretch how that pans out. Like, I just don't see him keep winning. They have a lot of tough games. Their schedule's not that easy coming up. They have some games they could have lost too. So, yes, I agree. He changed it around very, very quickly. But come on, he took over a damn good team. You have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL who he's not even letting throw the ball. So you drafted probably the best tackle out of this draft and probably out of last year's draft and the year before's draft. Joe Alt is not a joke. So, yeah, the man is a brilliant, brilliant man. There's a reason he probably wanted nothing to do with being head coach of the Raiders. Like, look at the team over there. Come on, you got Joey Bosa. You got Khalil Mack. Bro, I don't see him taking over this Raiders team last year and them being as good as the Chargers were. I just don't. Our roster's not put together like that. We don't have the depth. We definitely don't. We have one guy that can tackle on our whole entire defense. The rest of the guys are like 40 tackles behind him. Look at everybody else's defensive roster stats, bro. They got like 3, 4, 5 guys that are all in the same area of tackles. We got one guy that's like 30 ahead. Horrible. Reed has been coaching a long time. Only coach that has had success in the way he is saying is Dan Campbell. That's a cross between Ben Johnson. Before Ben Johnson, Campbell was the losing coach. I mean, you can't say it's all Ben Johnson, but a lot of it is. I mean, a lot of it is also, the fuck is his name? Their assistant coach and running back coach. Like, that dude's a brilliant, brilliant mind too. And a lot of people are saying, you know, even their their passing game coordinator. I can't remember his name either right now. Damn, my mind's drawing a blank. But dude, they have a lot of coaches on that staff that are young, innovative, up and coming coaches, and there's probably, if they win the Super Bowl, a lot of those guys might have jobs as OCs next year or even head coaches. There's been a lot of talks about a lot of people on the Lions organization, so it's not just all Ben Johnson. Yes, he has a decent offense, but come on, man, look, they threw 5 interceptions and still won the game. That's defense. That's defense right there. When you can turn the ball over 5 times and your defense doesn't give up, but what was it, 3 points or 7 points off of those turnovers? That's defense. That's not all offense. So Ben Johnson is definitely a great offense coordinator, but is he a great head coach? We don't know. There's been a lot of offensive coordinators that have came to the NFL and just turned out to be ass, bro. They just they don't cut it as head coaches, and they go back to being offensive coordinators. Just look at Dick Daniels for one. You have to say Josh McDaniels was one of the best offensive coordinators of his time, right? Look what he did in that offense. Name me, besides Randy Moss that went there, name me a superstar wide receiver. They had a superstar tight end, a superstar quarterback, and the rest were not Pro Bowler guys, right? Edelman, maybe, Wes Welker, yes, but Brady made those guys, right? So there wasn't a lot of, high-paid players on that team. There was a bunch of just young guys that did their 111 and did their job. So Belichick would kill it with our current roster. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, bro. I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't feel that way. I don't. Sorry, I don't. He didn't have a bad roster. Like, people could talk shit all you want on Mac Jones, but I don't think that dude's a bad quarterback. I think he had again, look what I was just saying. There's no number 1 wide receivers. They don't draft wide receivers in the first round. They don't, and a lot of his draft picks have been have been very, very bad after Tom Brady. So once Tom Brady left, that team fell apart. And most people say that team won because of Brady. Like, just look at how many times he changed the play at the line of scrimmage. Like, every time he came to the line of scrimmage, the man was changing plays. He was like, nope, I don't like that play. I'm going to change it to this play. So a lot of that was Tom Brady, bro. Look at Belichick's record before Tom Brady. Only 2 coaches that can fix our current issues, who is proven commodity, is John Gruden and Bill Belichick. What? And after Mark screwed Gruden over, I don't see Gruden coming back. I don't think Mark screwed Gruden over. I think Gruden screwed himself over, stuck his finger in his own bunghole by making stupid-ass emails to dumbass coaches that you can't trust and owners that you can't trust in a cutthroat league. Come on, man. These guys knew that John Gruden and Mike Mayock were trying to build a nasty, nasty, nasty team. Yeah, they missed on some draft picks, but there's a lot of draft picks that they hit on that are still key components to this team right now. So the NFL, any chance you get to get rid of a head coach that you think might be taking your Super Bowl chance or your playoff appearances because they got a better team and they're better coaches than you, they're going to try to get rid of your ass. So that's his own stupidity, bro. Don't blame that shit on Roger Goodell or anybody else. That's John Gruden's own ego and his own egotistical shit, talking shit about people that you shouldn't be talking shit about, especially online, bro. It's stupid. It's stupid. Great coach, stupid ass man. Point is, Dan Campbell not only different than AP. If Ben Johnson and DC leave Dan Campbell, we'll go back to losing Campbell. It's like AP can't run either side of the ball. Like, not all coaches have to run side of the ball. You have to be a good judge of talent, right? That is your main job, is to get guys to buy into your system. And your system is whatever offensive coordinator decides to run. So you have to get a guy that you trust, a guy that you believe in, but you have to have a vision. Dan Campbell has a vision for what he wants to do with this team. He knew what his vision was. It took him a while. He started out trash, but he knew what he wanted. He went and got the quarterback he wanted. He went and got the running backs he wanted. He went and got the defensive end he wanted. He went and got corners that he wanted. He stole one from us in free agency. He knew what he wanted. He knew his plan, and he got the guys to put it together. But he also had coached in the NFL for a long, long time. He'd been, I don't know how many different other coaches, but Dan Campbell has been in the league. Antonio Pierce hasn't. He was in the NFL a year and a half coaching linebackers. Like, come on. The head coach, bro. He's just not, it's not even a comparison. Dan Campbell and Antonio Pierce, I'm tired of hearing that comparison. It's night and day. Dan Campbell has experience. He'd been around the NFL. He has seen that. He's done that. He's known. He lost. He won. It took him a minute. He got his guys in. Will Antonio Pierce have that long? I don't know. Can he be a coach like that? I don't know, because right off the bat, the staff he's put around him is not helping him. It's not helping his cause. The choices he makes, you know, and this is another thing. You have to give Antonio Pierce just I do. You don't have to. I do. Just a small, very small excuse. Now, was he making bad calls, game management, timeouts? Yes. But Mark Davis and Tom Telesco went out and hired a game manager. So you want to know who Antonio Pierce is talking to in his little headset when he clicks it down? A paid game manager. Who is this game manager? I have no idea. If y'all know, find out, let me know. Because I've been trying to find out who this dude is. But obviously I'm not very good at research because it shouldn't be very hard. But they hired a hired gun to come in and be a game manager to tell him when to go for it on fourth down, to tell him when to use his timeouts. So if Antonio Pierce is making stupid decisions, right? If this dude's making dumbass decisions, it's because somebody's fucking telling him to make the dumbass decision. Somebody's in his ear saying, bro, don't kick it. Don't kick a field goal. No. Pass it 3 times on the 1 yard line. Don't quarterback sneak it. Don't try to run the ball to the outside. Don't run an RPO. Come on, man. This is not all Antonio Pierce. He has a hired game manager making those decisions. Now, does he always go with those decisions? Only Antonio Pierce knows that question, the answer to that question, right? Because only he knows, and the game manager who tells him, hey, do this. Now, if he does the opposite, there's only 2 people that know if he's doing it, if it's the game manager or if it's Antonio Pierce making his decisions. But so far, bro, so far. What? Mark didn't have to fire Gruden. Goodell literally called Mark and said he wasn't going to fire Gruden. Look, Mark had to fire. It was racist comments, bro. He made racist comments about people's lips. He made homosexual comments. The nation is a mixed bag of every race, probably trans, gay, lesbian, everything you could think of, bro, is the Raider Nation. You know how much shit Mark Davis would have got if we would have kept John Gruden. The whole world was right away saying fire him. He has to be fired. He has to be fired. He has to be fired. Bro, it would have been a nightmare. We have way too much drama in the nation. People were calling for that man's head for the shit he said. And now those same people would be like, if we only had John Gruden to be coach for the Las Vegas Raiders, we would be so good. We were Super Bowl bound. No, we weren't, bro. We were getting guys like fucking Damon Arnett. Come on, bro. We were getting guys like, man, I'm not even Alex fucking Leatherwood, bro. Take your Gruden shit. So I'm done with the Gruden shit, bro. Come on. Fuck Gruden, bro. Gruden is a traitor. He went to Tampa Bay. He ran all over us with his playbook. I'm not getting over that shit. I don't care. I'm done with Gruden, bro. Fuck John Gruden. John Gruden. Man, come on. Yes, he brought in some good pieces. Yes, he was good. But that dude came out and said, I'm into making effing nightmares. I don't care about people's dreams. The same way Antonio Pierce came out and said, we're going to be physical, violent, ill intent. Both of those dudes were bald-faced liars. These teams were nothing they said they were. Not even close. And I'm done. I'm done with Gruden. I'm done with bringing back coaches. I don't want a Belichick. I don't want Vrabel. I don't want any of these clowns to be coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. I want the Raiders to go find somebody that's up and coming, that's been an OC for a while, or somebody that's been like, I don't know. Let's start over. Start over. We keep doing the same shit. The definition of insanity is to keep doing the same shit and expecting different results. We've tried bringing in these coaches like Norv Turner. We tried bringing in these dudes like Jack Del Rio, which shout out to Jack Del Rio, did a damn good job. Should have never lost his job. But he just got a DUI, ran into a stop sign and some other shit, and probably won't be coaching for a while. But you never know. Now that he don't have a job because he just resigned from whatever he was doing, head of operations or some shit, he could be back to the Las Vegas Raiders, right? Maybe we'll bring Jack Del Rio back. I don't know. But we're on a constant carousel of coaches that we just kick off, and then we're like, okay, maybe we'll try them again this year. Like 10 years later, okay, they're a little bit older. Let's try them again. And they even got me doing that shit because I'm saying, look, Lane Kiffin was the youngest head coach ever hired in the NFL at 31 years old. Way too young. No NFL head coaching experience. It was a swing for the fences. But the man is older. He's evolved. He's done outstanding with Ole Miss, just dominating the SEC right now, beating a lot of teams that a lot of teams can't beat. He has Jackson Dart playing his ass off. I mean, if you're going to be on this coaching carousel, bringing back stupid coaches and make bad decisions, I'm not saying bring Lane Kiffin back as head coach, but I think he would make a damn good offensive coordinator underneath the right head coach. Who is that head coach? Bro, I don't have any idea. I don't have any idea. But offensive coordinator, since we're speaking of offensive coordinator, I think Lane Kiffin would be a great choice. The guy calling plays over there in the Jets now, what's his name? Doherty or whatever. Used to be a Raider. Since we're on this carousel, I mean, the Jets don't look very good. Their offense don't look very good because they don't have a quarterback that can throw the ball and they have no offensive line. But the system, if you have players, could be all right, right? You could bring that dude back. Josh McCown played here with Lane Kiffin. Wouldn't that be funny? Lane Kiffin come back as head coach with Josh McCown as offensive coordinator. That would be hilarious. But that would be some shit that would happen because it's the Las Vegas Raiders. And that's just how we roll, right? We do some crazy, wild, outlandish, insane shit all the time. 2000 playoff team was Gruden's team. No, it wasn't, because Gruden got the boot and Rick Bisaccia took over. And when Rick Bisaccia took over, They had a losing record. That team was not a playoff team. And we can't say that Gruden would have turned that shit around because Rick Bisaccia turned it around. We went on a run. They went on a couple game winning streak and then lost. They went on another game winning streak to make the playoffs. So, no, that's bullshit. It was not Gruden's team that got them to the playoff. It was the team that rallied behind Rick Bisaccia, just like they rallied behind Antonio Pierce. But that honeymoon is over, bro. They're not happy with Antonio Pierce. And I can't say it was Antonio Pierce the players were talking about in the locker room because I do not know. I don't know. It could have been any coaches, right? It could have been all the coaches. Because, let's be honest, Cadillac Williams has done a horrible job with this running back room. I mean, the wide receiver coach, horrible job with the wide receivers. The only guy that's done any good is Luke Steckel, the tight end coach. That's the only dude that's done good. The only coach, really, that's done good. Patrick Graham can't stop the run to save his life. He's put guys in the worst positions at the worst time. Like I said, I spent the last week just watching film going, what the hell? I would fire Patrick Graham, honestly. I would fire Patrick Graham because he really hasn't done shit. Go back, look at his track record. Look at his win-loss record. Look at his points scored per game. Look at runs per game since he's been a Raider. That man is not it, bro. The man is not it. We need a total rebuild. Use inside source. I don't have an inside source. And if I did, I wouldn't be on here trying to tell everybody that I have a source in the building telling me shit. Like that would be the last place I'd be saying. I'd just say I have a source that might have some good info. But to say he works in the head office, in the front building, in the front office, come on. To say he's in the building and at practice all the time, or she, it's just wild, bro. Why would you, I don't know, throw people under the bus? It's just crazy for clicks. For clicks. It's not that big of a deal, bro. It's YouTube. Come on, man. Anyone outside of a proven commodity is a high risk. Look at all the teams that have success. They have proven coaches outside of the Lions who are good. No, they're not, bro. No. Look at the Houston Texans. Come on. Okay. I guess Washington does have a proven coach, but I mean, there's teams out there that don't have proven coaches that went with the other way. That decided to go with the offensive coordinator or even a passing game coordinator or wide receiver coach. There's coaches that have come in. Where do you think Ben Johnson came from? Where do you think Solik came from? All these guys came up from the lower ranks. Like, is it their time to be head coach? Yes. But are they going to take over a team that they don't have complete control over to try to rebuild? Probably not. And I don't see the Raiders and Mark Davis with Tom Telesco and now Tom Brady, if he's in, player operations or control of all that shit. I don't see him bringing in a coach and giving them that much power. I just don't see it happening. And like I said, why would you leave a team when you got a great team around you that has a chance to win a Super Bowl? Not many coaches in the NFL get the opportunity to be on a team to go to the Super Bowl. And that would skyrocket his chance of being a head coach, winning a Super Bowl. So I just don't see him leaving there unless it's just an opportunity that he can't refuse. And I don't see the Raiders being an opportunity you can't refuse. I mean, come on. Let's be honest. Look at the AFC West. Chargers 6-3, second in the AFC. AFC West because of Harbaugh. Broncos 5-5 with Peyton as a rookie quarterback. Steelers, Tomlin. Ravens second. John Harbaugh, proven coaches who win. I know. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. I get it. Proven coaches who win. But those are proven coaches, minus Harbaugh, that have been there a long time. Tomlin's been there 16 years. This is his franchise. He's built everybody who's come in that building for the last 15, 14 years has been his guys. Like, that's a totally different thing, you know. Peyton hasn't been there long. John Harbaugh's been coach of the Ravens for a while, bro. He's been there for a long time. These guys, yes, and you need a proven coach, but there's not out there. That's what I'm saying. They're not out there. They're not out there. There's guys that have been fired over and over again from different organizations, from good organizations, because they couldn't win in good organizations with good personnel. And there's just too many holes on this team right now. There's too many holes. Too many holes. We have too many moves to make. We have to get rid of Andre James. We just signed a contract. I mean, there's a lot of shit and a lot of moving pieces and a lot of moving parts. So I'm done on I'm out. I'm out on the Gruden. Belichick. I mean, how many years does he got left coaching? Also, Bisaccia didn't do much of anything. That's why no one else hired him for anything except as T coach, which he's doing a horrible job at right now. It was Greg Olson, Carr calling offense, and Bradley calling defense. That defense wasn't even that great. They were okay. I mean, come on. We lost a lot of games in the fourth quarter then, too. But, yeah, Greg Olson, dude, I liked Greg Olson's offense. I thought it was nice. But it was Rick Bisaccia who got the players to play, right? They were in the dumps. They were like, shit, we're losing. We're bad. We're not any good. Carr was playing like ass. The offensive line was playing horrible. Like, the defense wasn't playing good. He brought that team together. He got them motivated to play. That's what a good head coach does. You take guys and you get them to believe in themselves and get them to believe in your system. Just Raiders, baby. What's good, man? Appreciate you pulling up. Y'all check us out. Oh, shit. Where'd everybody go? What's good with you, man? Greg Olson was just like John Gruden, clipboard holder. You're saying John Gruden was a clipboard holder? Whoever's plays they were, you still have to be able to call them, right? And it takes a brilliant mind to be able to call plays at the right time. And that was the problem with Luke Getsy. The offense wasn't bad. The scheme wasn't bad. Well, the run scheme was horrible. The offensive, well, I guess that wasn't even him either because it was Scott Turner who was the passing game coordinator. So, you know, the passing game wasn't bad. We just didn't have a quarterback or offensive line to complete or to do what the coordinator wanted. But also, he was horrible at calling plays in key moments. When we needed a play, the pressure was just too much for him. He couldn't call plays. If you brought in a guy like Greg Olson to call Getsy's system, I bet that system would be a hell of a lot better. And I guess we're going to find out with Scott Turner taking over because can they change the system in a week? I don't know. I don't think so. Has it been done before? Maybe. But I've never heard of anybody hiring an offensive coordinator or changing, you know, bringing guys up to offensive coordinator and bringing in an assistant and just overhauling the offense in a bye week. That's not going to happen. So they're probably cutting the playbook down like they did last year. They're going to have so many plays out of it, and as the weeks go and progress, they'll add a little bit of their own flavor to whatever system it is. Hopefully it's 12 personnel because I really want to get a chance to see how good this team could have been in 12 personnel with 2 tight ends, right? We have no receivers right now. We don't have a quarterback that can throw the ball to the receivers. Can we just get it to the tight ends and see what they got? What? Not sure what is saying you are not. What are you talking about? Shit, I just got messages too. Word. No, I said Greg Olson was John Gruden's clipboard. Oh, okay. Yeah. He definitely was a clipboard holder. But I think he called, but look, it was Gruden's calls, but he was the one that was, calling them in the key moments. And a lot of those fourth quarter 2 minute drive comebacks was Greg Olson, calling the right play. So I didn't mind his play calling. Like, now, can he call his own shit? Who knows? But he's good at calling somebody. If you got an offensive minded coach like Ben Johnson, hey, Greg Olson could call your plays. They had 2 weeks to figure it out with the bye week. Yeah. Well, no, because they didn't even make the change until like 3 days into the bye, right? So, or I guess 2 days into the bye. I mean, look, we had a whole entire offseason and training camp to figure out Luke Getsy's system, and you can clearly tell nobody had this system down pat. I mean, the running backs, the offensive line, everybody has struggled. So maybe it's just the team. I don't know. Maybe they just not smart enough to pick it up that fast. Hopefully they are, but hopefully they're not going to try to change much, because make sure I score. Appreciate you. Listen to my man. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Appreciate it. I will be live Thursday with my guy, Just Raiders, baby, Jay Raider. Make sure y'all pull up. We will be breaking down a lot about the Raiders. So you definitely won't want to miss it. I think Gruden was a good coach too. I mean, I believe he still is a good coach. I even watched all his podcasts, him breaking down teams in the NFL. I mean, the man's a brilliant mind, but come on, 3 times as a head coach for the same team is just too many times. We keep going back to these guys on this coaching carousel, and we need to get off. Like, somebody eventually needs to get off. We need to move on. We need to bring in new blood. Is AP the guy? We don't know. Can we bring in offense? You're not going to get a Ben Johnson or a Solik or any of these guys to come in under Antonio Pierce and be offensive coordinator. These guys are going to want to be head coaches, or they're just going to stay where they're at. So I don't know. We have a lot of decisions to make in this franchise over the next 8 games. I'm just hoping that Norv Turner doesn't come in, get the ground game going, and we start playing spoiler to some teams, trying to knock them out of the playoffs. Because I'd much rather, at this point, what do you have to play for, right? Just go out and play your hardest, and hope you win. I don't see that being an Antonio Pierce. I think he fired people for a reason. And I don't think they're worried about the draft pick, to be honest. I think they have a plan up their sleeve. Maybe Tom Telesco's already been on the phone with guys, with other teams, saying, hey, this is who we want. This is where we want to be. What's it going to take to get there? So I think they already have a plan in place. And I think everybody's worried about, we have to be first, second, or third to get Shador, to get Cam Ward. And I just don't think that's the case. I think there's some kind of plan going on, because you don't fire a guy who's losing you games when you want to lose games. You get what I'm saying? Like, Luke Getsy was not calling us games that were winnable, right? We come out hot and then we just turn ice cold, like we've been stuck in a freezer for 4 days. So why would you fire that guy if you're really trying to tank? It just doesn't make sense. So to me, all signs point to all systems go. They had a meeting for a reason. They want to try to correct it. AP wants to win. I mean, at this point, you have to, right? Your job's on the line. Tom Telesco's job's on the line, too, because you put this team together. You had the offseason to bring this couple pieces in. The rest of the pieces were already in place, and they were good without both of these guys. Nope, that was Carr. Wait, what? Nope, that was Carr. Carr was good. 2-minute, fourth-minute drills. Yeah, but somebody's got to call those plays, right? Somebody's got to call those plays. And I know Carr was the shit when it comes to 2-minute drills. I know he leads the Raiders, but he might lead. He's got to be up there in like the top 5 in 2-minute comebacks because my man had a lot. Definitely had a lot. I was saying they had 2 weeks to figure out the play they're going to use against the Dolphins. Is another team not playing well? I mean, they didn't look too bad at times last week. The offense, yeah, they're struggling. They're struggling. But hey, they got to win, right? Maybe that'll get them some momentum and boost them past the Raiders. I don't know, but we will talk about that Thursday with my guy Just Raiders, baby. We will break all that shit down. Make sure y'all pull up. Damn, I've been on here an hour and 40 minutes. All right, I'm about to get off here. Let me read these comments. To install a system. I mean, 2 weeks it's not enough time to install a system, but it's enough time to revamp or to change to change what you got. I think all these guys, have been in the NFL for a long time. And I think they can tweak what we have. Like, I don't know how thick the playbook is because you see the little tiny sheet that didn't even have a backside to it. I don't believe that Getsy was working off of. Yeah, that's another thing I'm going to break down on Thursday is how can you win when you're dumbing down a playbook if you only have 10 plays? Like, come on, man. You can't win on 10. You can't win on 10 plays. They did Barry pull it out with the Falcons, LOL, right? Dolphins 6-3. Hey, that puts them behind us trying to get a quarterback, which I don't think they're going to be trying to get a quarterback. But hey, you never know. Come on. I mean, look at Tua. You got to be scared with those concussions, right? That's another team, the Dolphins, that could be up there trying to get a quarterback. But we will break all that down Thursday. Yes, sir. It's going down Thursday. A lot of good topics. Yes, sir. Make sure y'all pull up. So Thursday, 9 o'clock Central Time. We will be breaking down a lot of shit. I appreciate all y'all pulling up. Raiders. Just lose, baby. Yeah, I said it. No, don't lose on purpose. Because, look, I know there's a lot of talk about tanking. And I know there's a lot of talk about losing for a draft pick. But we got to realize that there's 21 guys that are free agents on this team. And their careers, their livelihoods are on the line. So, these guys want to perform to the best of their ability. And when you're losing, it's hard to look at somebody and say they're performing well. So, look, this team wants to do everything they can. There's guys that want to be on this team. We know AP hasn't lost the locker room as far as we know. It seems like guys are still going to bat for him. Guys still want to play. I mean, I see it every game. There's games that we could have just gave up, and we still have grit. We still have toughness. We still have fight in us. But is that really what we need at this point? I don't know. We'll break that all down Thursday. Don't miss out. Make sure y'all pull up. Much love. Peace out.